Okay. See if we can get chat going on here. What's up? What's up, guys? This is only my second live ever, so give me a second to make sure my shit's not going sideways. What's up, Jeff S? Yeah, actually doing live. Only the second time I've ever done this. Won't be Jenna, though. She's kind of down for the count. She had a headache. Maybe get her to do a live tomorrow night, because we'll be home tomorrow night as well. So, and I can't yet do lives on my phone or the iPad because I don't yet have 1,000 subscribers. So I can't do it on phone, which means I have to bust out the MacBook, which quite frankly doesn't get used for much of anything. Okay is planned for the fleet. Yeah, it's going to be the okayest fleet at Prime. What's up, Country Times? I'll give it a couple minutes. This video is going to live on the channel for a long time, so I'm not really doing it for the live aspect, but just to make sure I don't have to keep reiterating what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give it a couple minutes. And I'm waiting for Do It All if he can show up. I don't know. He might be sleeping. Because I just sent him a text message. He said, okay, he might be sleeping. Trucking and Plucking, what's up, man? Gave you a shout out today. I love the story, Trucking and Plucking. I love that you had a music background going to trucking. I love that dramatic change from, because I'm from the film industry, so I can relate to going from, making such a dramatic change to go trucking. So looking forward to watching your journey. Nice. So we got Jeff S, Country Times, Trucking and Plucking. I'll try to watch these comments as much as I can. But like I said, I'm kind of making this video to live on my YouTube channel. So it's not really so much for the live aspect, although it's pretty cool to have a little bit of a live chat here with you. What's up, Big AV Trucker? Big AV Trucker. Hey, man. So as the title suggests, I hope the title was in there. This video is in response. What are we at, like 3.5 minutes in? Okay, yeah. So I want to go ahead and get started. This video is in response to DOITALL Trucker. What's up, John St. Clair? Seeing a lot of familiar faces there. DOITALL Trucker called me out on Halloween night. He did a video. I think it was the 3 scariest moments in trucking for him, and he had a pretty epic one. Being against you or hateful, just have a lot of knowledge and experience. Yeah, I don't take it that way anyway, man. Let me get through my 3 scariest moments, Country Times, and then I'll kind of open up on some other stuff. I'm not in any rush. So if you guys can hang with me for a few minutes, let me get through these 3 points, because this is a video I've been meaning to make for DOITALL Trucker. And then we can talk about some of that stuff. What I've been saying the last couple of videos is not directed to you. I promise it's not. And Do It All actually called me on the phone today. I was at Sam's Club. He called me and we talked about this. So I want to address that. What's up, Do It All? Yeah, so I'll link to Do It All's channel in the description when I go back and edit it. And I'll link to his video that he did on his 3 scariest moments. One of his was pretty freaking epic. If you haven't watched it yet, you got to go watch that video where he basically got hung up in the middle of the interstate going up a mountain. Couldn't get into the right gear, was just stuck there. I think he was in training. So what's up, Rick? And so pretty cool. So Jen and I, now she had to go later. She had a headache, so she's gonna probably get her on a live tomorrow or the next night. But we talked about this, our 3 scariest moments. It was really tough, honestly. So we've had more than 3 of what I would say were kind of our scariest moments in trucking since we've been with Prime. Of course, that's been our whole trucking career because we didn't drive truck anywhere else. But one, I'm going to try to tell as best as I can because it very much involves Jenna and her driving. And then the other 2 were when I was driving. But yeah, again, this is for DOITALL Trucking in response to his. And he's actually texting me right now. So let me make sure nothing happened. Okay. So anyway, our number 1, these are not in any particular order, actually. They're just the 3 that Jen and I discussed on what our 3 scariest moments in trucking were. The first one has got to be the only critical event that our truck has ever had. I've never had a critical event. We're both accident free. We're both PTC, primetime certified. We've never been late, but she had one critical event in her short career here at Prime Inc. And it was pretty hairy. And for those who don't know, critical event is, it's a report that's generated by our trucks at Prime Inc. I don't know if other trucks and other mega carriers or companies do these. But when there's something that happens, it could be hard braking, overspeed, there's a lot of things that can happen that can create a critical event report, which then gets sent to safety, to your fleet management. And they can cause some issues for you. If you're in training, they can add like 10,000 miles to your training. So we were going through Beaumont, Texas. I'm pretty sure it's Beaumont. If you guys in the comments, if you're familiar with that nasty curve down there in Beaumont, Texas, I'm almost certain it's Beaumont, Texas. I tried to look on a map today, and I did see a curve there. I think it was that curve. But there's a curve. I'm pretty sure it's Beaumont, Texas, where it just creeps up on you. And Jenna she was just out of training. So she had finished training. She didn't get 10,000 miles added to her or anything. So she was just out of training. She was fully upgraded. And cruising through there, she's driving west to east. And there was some construction. And then, when you go through training and you start driving, they always tell you that the posted speed limit is not meant for trucks, right? It's meant for 4-wheelers, meant for cars. So just because it says 50 on a curve or 55 on a curve, that doesn't mean that for a fully loaded, possibly top heavy, tractor trailer combination vehicle, that doesn't mean that speed is for that vehicle. And boy, before she had her situation, I had a near similar situation on that same curve going through, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's Beaumont, Texas, where it damn near caught me off guard multiple times going through there. And you see the signs that say curve coming up, you see the reduced speed signs, and you prepare for it. But man, that curve is just nasty in both directions too. I think going east to west, you're kind of coming down a hill going around the curve, and then going west to east, you'd be on the inside of the curve, kind of going, you still go kind of down into a dip and then come out. And so I was in a passenger seat, I wasn't asleep. And boy, she just, coming out of construction right into that curb. It was, let me tell you something, that truck did not feel right at all. It's hard to describe. I mean, those of you who drive trucks, you kind of know what that tolerance point is. And when you get real familiar with driving a truck, you can even tell if there's a lot of variances. Like if your load's heavy and a load is low, you know what I mean? Like you can the truck just takes curves differently. If it's empty, if it's an empty trailer, it takes curves differently. And so I think when you get really, I don't want to say I'm a professional. I mean, I'm a professional driver, but I'm still fairly new. I've only been doing this for 2 years. But even where I'm at in my career, I know how I can take curves differently. I never want to take them too fast, of course, but you can take curves differently based on the type of load you have and how that load is loaded. Well, we didn't know how this load was loaded because it was a preloaded trailer. But the point is, when she came into that curve, both of us immediately were like, oh my God, like this, it did not feel right. It felt like, I don't know, words just can't describe it. She wasn't speeding. She wasn't doing anything illegal. It just caught her off guard. And like I said, that curve caught me off guard a couple times. I just wasn't going that fast or didn't have that kind of a load. And again, she wasn't speeding, but just coming into that curve, man, it just felt wrong in so many ways. It felt wrong on the tractor. It felt wrong on the trailer. And the thing is, when you come into a curve like that, there's not really a whole lot you can do to try and make adjustments. You know what I mean? Either you're coming into it in a controllable environment or you're coming into it in a not controllable environment. We were right there in the middle of that tolerance point. So that was it was definitely one of the 3 scariest moments for us. And the truck immediately generated a critical event on her. I mean, it instantly, like we both were like, oh my God, that was terrifying, and immediately got a critical event registered, a report registered. Now she knew right away, we didn't need to have any conversation about it, although we did, but she knew right away. And it was so jarring that she had to end her shift right then and there. I mean, we pulled over at the Welcome Center in Louisiana and she was just done. I mean, it was disturbing, guys, and I think that should be, we didn't know how this critical event thing worked. So we messaged our fleet manager, hey, don't know if you saw this or not. You probably saw it, but we just got a critical event. Here's what happened. Jenna knows exactly what happened. I know exactly what happened. She knows what she did wrong. She knows what she did right. Guess you guys are going to take a look at that, let us know what the next steps are. Cause we didn't know. And, what's up, Trish? So he came back and said, we'll take a look, and we never heard from him again. So I assumed that, us getting out in front of it and saying, hey, we understand what happened, kind of like I said, I've never had a critical event. She never had one before. She never had one after. But that was a huge learning experience, guys, is that going into curves, even if there's a posted speed limit, I mean, it can be really, really dodgy. And I guarantee you that she will never underestimate a curve again because of that experience. So that was a good learning experience for her, a good educational. It's same for me, because like I said, I've come into that curve probably right about the same that she did. Yeah, do it all. I mean, that's good. We got ahead of it. We knew what went wrong. We knew that, we took the curve the wrong way. We knew that there was a critical event generated, and we weren't going to try and just, push on and pretend it didn't happen. It was a dodgy situation. So, like I said, we pulled over at the rest area and talked about it, and she got some sleep and, moved on. I'm just, no words can describe it. When you get into a situation like that and the truck felt all kinds of wrong. We've never had the truck feel that way, but it was the first time ever that we've driven a truck where it was like, oh my God, that could have, it was just right there at the limit, of what it could take on a curve. So that was our first one. So let that be a lesson. Even if you think you've got a handle on a curve, understand where your load's at. And if it's a preloaded trailer and you don't know how high the load is in that trailer, then just be mindful of that and don't make any assumptions. Don't make any guesses. So that was our first one. The second one is a little bizarre. Now, I don't know if my Peterbilt will do this. I didn't know that my Freightliner Cascadia before I had a Peterbilt would do this, but one day I'm driving down highway, and full disclosure here, guys, you'll probably hear me say it again. I know some of you might give me shit for this. It's fine. Whatever. Lyle, no hippie trucking transportation gets shit for it too. I don't care. I drive 65 pretty much all the time. If I can legally drive 65, I legally drive 65. Jenna makes up for it on the fuel. She drives, the way Prime wants you to drive. I drive the way I want to drive. I drive 65 like all the time. I don't know. I pay for my own fuel. I'm a lease driver. Plus, my Peterbilt doesn't like to do 60. I'm just being honest with you. The gear ratio is all wrong on it. It does not like to do 60. It likes to either do 58 or 65. And I ain't doing 58. Like, it just is what it is. So one day in my Freightliner Cascadia, I'm doing 65 on an interstate in Texas. And I reached down to scratch an itch on my left shin. Well, as soon as I did that and I pulled my hand up, I realized I had lost all power in my truck, all power. No power steering, no fuel, nothing. Like, I just lost everything in the truck. And it's like huge traffic on both sides. There's just tons of traffic on both sides. I'm out in like one of the middle lanes. I got no power steering or nothing. I have no idea what's going on. So I'm trying to navigate. I have no acceleration. The engine's off. I have nothing. Trying to navigate in and out of these lanes to try and figure out how the heck to get, what do you call it when you go through your, emergency stop, trying to figure out how the hell to get over the right lane. And it was a freaking nightmare trying to navigate traffic, heavy traffic without any acceleration, no power steering, fully loaded, 78,000 pounds, trying to work my way over. And I'm finally, after just getting down to like 20, 25 miles an hour and trying to navigate these lanes, get over into the shoulder, get the truck and, get out of gear, which it wasn't really in gear anyway at that point, and turn the four-way flashers on to realize that when I reached down to scratch my shin, I actually knocked the key and shut the truck off, which, I guess totally makes sense. It just never dawned on me that when you're driving an 80,000 pound truck, 65 miles an hour, that you can just bump the key and turn the truck off. I guess in my head, I thought you start the truck and it would be a little more difficult. I don't know. Anyway, another teachable moment, if you will, another educational moment there that you can very easily shut your truck off. And I had another thing that I've changed after that is that I had a key ring on my keys that kind of stuck out far from my key. And that's, I think, what I hit. So now I don't have a key ring that kind of sticks out. I have a really thin one that hangs down so that I don't get into that situation again. But do it all says dying. Yeah, it's the stupid shit, right? The little things. So that would have been my second one. And then my third, probably scariest moment for both of us now, this would have been when Jenna was in TNT, would be when we did Better to Be a Truck Driver Than an Airlight Pilot that day. Yeah. Although an airplane probably would have glided into its spot a little better than I did with the truck in that particular instance. My third one was, it was a blizzard. Reads Across America was the load we were doing, which was epic. I mean, I can't, like, we're right now talking to Reads Across America. We're talking to their PR department and starting to work with Prime to make sure that we can get back up there. And we're actually planning or hoping to do a 34-hour reset in Maine to give you guys a behind the scenes, really intensive look at Reads Across America. Because it was such an amazing experience, really kind of moving experience. I don't remember the number of reads we had in the truck. It was thousands. It was thousands of reads. And to think that that load represented thousands of our fallen heroes, like in the trailer behind my seat. Was such a moving experience. like words just can't describe, the feeling of having a number, attached to. I mean, it's what you're doing. You're taking wreaths to be placed on grave sites of our fallen warriors in a national cemetery. So it was such a just unbelievable experience. But our timing on it was completely shitty. And there was this blizzard moving in. I don't remember. It was like right before. I don't know if you guys remember last year, like a week and a half before Christmas. There was just a nasty blizzard that moved up in the Northeast. I mean, it just ripped up everything. And we had thought that I talked about this in like our first or second video we put on YouTube. We had thought that we were going to avoid it. We actually waited up there in Maine at the Wreaths Across America, I guess command or whatever, headquarters up there in Maine. Waited like a full 24 hours after our original pickup time, because we had such a huge window to get to the National Cemetery out in California. That we'd waited and we're watching radar and watching this thing move through. So we had thought that we were going to be able to avoid it for the most part. And we finally got loaded with the wreaths. Then we started working our way down towards New Hampshire, the toll road there that goes down through Maine, through New Hampshire into Massachusetts, then over into New York. We worked our way pretty close down in New Hampshire, got set up in a rest area, and we're going to wait there. It was the last plaza, service plaza there in Maine. And we're watching the radar and waiting for the last little bit of this thing to pass. And it looked like we were able to accomplish that. We went to bed. There was no snow or nothing. It looked like we were going to be able to accomplish that. We woke up, however, and there was like a freaking foot of snow, and it was coming down. That said, the toll behind the road behind us where we were parked, I got out, and even though there was a foot of snow, they hadn't really shoveled the service plaza. The road behind us was clear. So they'd just been working really well on it. They'd been keeping it treated. And it looked like there was just a little bit moving in, and I'd be able to get out on the road. This is late at night, no traffic out there. The road looked clear. I thought we'd be able to make it through no problems at all. So we get out there, and probably there's a TA down there. I want to say in New Hampshire or right across in Massachusetts. I know you guys know where I'm talking about. We made it to that TA, no problems. As soon as I left that TA, it was probably the heaviest blizzard that's just bitch slapped us that I've ever experienced in my life. And I lived in Chicago for more than 10 years. I mean, this was crazy blizzard. And it just hit so fast where you couldn't see, 10 or 15 feet in front of the truck. And there's no other vehicles. So I can't see like what the sides of the roads are. I can't tell what's a lane and what isn't. I can't see more than 10 or 15 feet in front of me. It's just sideways whipping snow left and right. And it was freaking hairy. And then when you get over there in Western Massachusetts, towards New York, you start getting into some of this. So just getting really, really dodgy. And I was just like, the truck was holding really well. I think it was enough weight to keep me in place. Those reasons, it's not a heavy load, but it was like 22,000 pounds or something like that. So it was just enough weight to give me what I needed. If it was like a 10,000 pound load, then I think it would have been a problem. But it was just enough weight to give me what I needed. But I was about to call. I had gone through this for about 45 minutes. There wasn't really anywhere for me to pull over that was safe. So I just kept going at it slow and steady. And finally, I get up on one of these hills, and I come down, and there's four-wheelers just spinning out. I mean, nobody can stay on the road, and I'm worried about these four-wheelers hitting the truck. I'm trying to not go too heavy on the service brakes. I used a little bit of Jake. I mean, just a little bit of Jake, not with cruise control, just a tiny bit of Jake. kept my eyes on trailer, both sides, making sure it's not getting wiggly, and worked the service brakes with the Jake so that I wasn't too hard on service brakes, but at the same time, I wasn't going crazy with the Jake either, just trying to keep the truck from getting to move too quickly going down this hill. So it was and I wasn't really a super experienced driver at that time either. So at that point, I was basically like, look, I gotta call it quits here. I mean, it was like, you're like gripping like this, leaning forward, trying to see. My windshield wipers are like frozen solid, just chunks of ice all the way across. There's ice all around the windshields. The two sides are frozen. It was a terrifying situation in the middle of the night, pitch black, can't see nothing, no real concept of where I am, other than I'm just on a toll road in the middle of a blizzard. And it seems like I'm the only vehicle that can move straight, because any other vehicle I see is just off on the, down in the ravine. Just terrible, freaking scary situation. So I was just about to tap out. And then right at that moment, it's like when, Arthur pulled the sword from the stone and this light comes out of the sky. There's this exit coming up and it's got trucks all up. So I'm like, there's nowhere I'm going to be able to park there. But then I see this army of DOT plows come. I mean, like, no joke, like 10 or 12 of these plows coming on, like, and they got their CB on, and it's like, they just came on and they did like a Mighty Ducks, all set up across all 5 lanes of this road, and just ripped this snow to pieces right in front of me. And so they get on CB and they're like, hey, big truck back there, if you want, we can make a hole so you can get on through, because they're going really slow. And I was like, no, hell no, I'm in no hurry. You guys are clearing this road right here in front of me, so I'm just going to stay right here with it. And I followed those plows all the way to the New York border and was able to escape that. But that was pretty freaking hairy. And we've only had maybe 2 or 3 other really hairy winter driving experiences. But that was, for me, it was just one of those situations, we try to say if there's chains required, then we shouldn't be driving. There wasn't chains required in that particular instance. But I probably shouldn't have gotten out into it. And I just, I thought the worst had passed, and was watching radar and thought we could squeeze through there, and just misjudged it by a couple hours. So that was pretty crazy. So those would be probably our 3 scariest moments in trucking. So, you learn from all 3 of them. The first one, obviously, pay attention to those curves, don't let them sneak up on you. The second one, scratching your leg, you can bump your key and turn your truck off at 65 miles per hour. And then the third one, of course, just winter is winter, man. You got to make good decisions, got to be smart about it, and don't go based on hope, So we had 3 pretty good lessons there. So with all that said, I'll pass that to Johnson's Logic. I'll ping him too, just in case he doesn't see this live video, because I know it's a long video and I know how time gets out there. But Johnson's Logic would love to see what your 3 scariest moments are. And DOITALL Trucker, very much appreciate the heads up on that. It was a great video you did on Halloween. Like I said, guys, I'll link to his video below, as well as his channel, and pass it on to Johnson's Logic. So all that said, the reason I did it for live is I wanted to open it up afterwards, and I try to catch up on some of these things. I don't know. Chuck, you're in orientation now. Right on, man. Right on. Let's see, I want to go back to country time. I don't know if you're still here, but I would definitely be willing to answer the question you were starting to ask earlier. I missed a lot of these comments while I was bloviating there. So yeah, if you guys have questions, go ahead and ask me. I'm not in a super hurry, but I don't want to go too long. Chuck, orientation now, I think, is way different than when I went through orientation. Back then, when I went through, you didn't come to Prime with your permit or anything. You didn't take a drug test first. You didn't take your permit test first. You didn't get your CDL. You didn't take your physical first. You didn't do anything before you got to prime. And there were over 100 students in my class. So over at Oasis, everybody shared a room because this was before COVIDs. So we all shared. Everybody got shared rooms, and there was over 100 students, and we all had to do our physicals. We all had to do. We had to go to the DMV in Springfield in groups and take our permit test. And then we got a Missouri permit and initially CDL, and then had to go swap that in our own states. So it was chaos, man. It was chaos back then. Now I think you guys come pretty much prepared with your physicals, your drug tests, your permit, everything already good to go. I know Jenna was out of her orientation by like Wednesday or Thursday, which is crazy because we didn't finish until Friday night, and then we went over and toured Prime Command in Springfield. So it was a crazy time back then. What did you have to say about sketchy neighborhoods, areas you have to visit on the job? Trish says, Eric, what do you have to say about sketchy neighborhoods? Tell you this, I won't deliver to Portland. I won't deliver or pick up in Portland. As far as sketchy neighborhoods, I think the vast majority of our customers are in industrial parks. You know what I mean? So like even I was in the Minneapolis area on election night, and I was kind of like, okay, it was, something could go south. But where we were was kind of outside of Minneapolis in a place where there was just a bunch of warehouses, So we don't really typically, sometimes I would say like 5 to 10% of the time, you might pick up or drop off in areas where there's also residential areas. But more times than not, by far, you're delivering. Like if you're delivering to a Walmart distribution center, those are in the middle of freaking nowhere. Most of them. I mean, like you would have no idea that there would be a massive distribution center in the middle of nowhere. Meat plants, those are usually very small towns that the whole town works at the meat plant. You know what I mean? So I haven't really run into any situation where I'm like, okay, this is really dodgy. But like I said, I won't deliver to or from Portland. I just, it's not a political position. It's that, I just don't want to put myself in that kind of risky situation. That's all it is. I'm here because talking to you in Jenna. Thanks for all the great advice. Yeah, no problem, Chuck. Thanks for stopping in. I really appreciate that. Yeah, it's super easy now. I'm in Pittston. Try to do my own video experience of it. Bearded. What was your name? Bearded Fat Man. Bearded Fat Man. That's funny. Yeah, I think I agree. I think orientation is much, much easier now. Are you talking Maine or Oregon? Definitely Oregon. I love Portland, Maine. I just delivered there a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. Great experience. I was in and out of that place super fast. I don't remember what it was. It was some sort of grocery distributor in southeast Portland, Maine. I actually love taking loads to and from Maine. I don't mind that at all. We got French fries up there in northern Maine. We got Rees across America. We have there's a great Walmart DC there just north of Portland in Maine. Several grocery distributors in Portland area. We have an account with candles that go to Bed Bath & Beyond up in New Hampshire. There's a killer bakery with decent paying loads out of New Hampshire. I like that whole area. I don't mind that at all. I don't like to go too much further south of there, but I like delivering up to Maine, New Hampshire. Hello. If you stick to the outlying areas of Portland, you'll probably be okay. Yeah, that's true. But you sometimes it's not really that easy to control that. If you stick to yeah, you could say I only want to go to the suburbs or outlying areas of Portland, Oregon. But what if you take a load all the way to Portland and you're delivering it somewhere great, but then the only loads are coming out of bad parts of Portland? And I've gotten some loads in parts of Portland that are now not a place you'd want to have a loaded truck and trailer. So would I end up having a deadhead hundreds of miles? I don't know. I just don't like, I just don't like to go up there. It's not just for reasons of being concerned about what can happen with my truck in Portland. I just don't like to go up there. I don't like driving up there. I don't like driving out there. I don't like to be up there. It's beautiful. Portland, Oregon and Washington, going through Idaho, man, it's so beautiful up there. I just don't like to drive up there. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying it's in my blacklist. California is the only thing that's in my blacklist. I only try to do California like once and New York City. California and New York City. I try to only do California like maybe once every 5 or 6 weeks if I have to. Salem, Oregon. Trish, yeah. Are you going to be part of the Stop the Tires? Not intentionally. Not intentionally, but my tires will be stopped. I would have flashlight with a taser and no comment, do it all. I don't want to go to Portland either, though. I don't like 1788. Do all prime lease drivers have access to load choice? No, Jeff, they do not. Not all prime lease drivers have access to load choice. And I think, we've only had load choice for a few months. So we drove lease for quite a while without load choice, and fought to get on it. I think the complexity, it's not just that they're being, difficult with us. I agree that every lease driver should have access to load choice, but it's easier said than done because Prime has to service our customers. You know what I'm saying? And I think this sort of slow phased rollout is so that they can get the algorithms right to make sure that the loads that are being proposed through load choice are still making sure that our customers are serviced, because we would all agree that we have to service our customers. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to keep our customers happy, and we have to keep those contracts serviced. So if they just threw load choice to all lease trucks, which is thousands and thousands of lease trucks, then what would happen if we all just took a certain type of load, and then there's the other types of loads that leave our customers not serviced? So I think they're really trying to find the right algorithms. I do think that it eventually would be rolled out to all lease trucks, but they're just trying to figure out if my truck needs to get 6 loads proposed to it, then what 6 loads get proposed to me versus a truck 20 miles away, to make sure that we're servicing our customers as best possible. I think that's a very complex algorithm, and I think they're trying to figure that out. And that's why it's just a very slow slow phased rollout of load choice to all trucks. I'll tell you though, load choice has been game changing for my truck. And it's not just a financial question. It's more just running the truck the way I want, the way that fits our lifestyle and our needs as a team truck. And it has actually made it so that we're making more money, but not because we're taking just always the best rates. It's because sometimes if we take really cheap rates, we're able to take cheap rates to places where we know we're going to get really good loads out of. So, but yes, right now it is not for all lease trucks. Let me go back up here. Sorry, guys. Trucker stopping over election stuff. Yeah, trucking and plugging. I don't get into politics, man. It's all bullshit to me. It's all chaos and bullshit. It's all divisive. I don't I just don't get into it. Let's see. I was gonna. Thanks. Easy. Drive across all bridges would suck in the winter. Thank you, Trucking with Matt. I appreciate that, man. Thanks for stopping by. Would you jump into a lease with no real emergency funds set up until the truck started rolling? COVID put me in a bad time with savings at a zero. Bearded Fat Man asked, okay, so I did. I did jump into a lease with no savings or emergency fund. And I did fine. I'm not recommending that everybody do it. Leasing's not for everybody. I think you can save up money really quick if you're disciplined in that manner. If you need to spend everything you get right away every week, leasing can really blow you up. I'm just being honest with you. If you can set back a couple $100 a week and have $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 buffer pretty quick, anything that's wrong with your truck within the first like 21 days, I think, or maybe even the first 4 weeks, like anything that's wrong with your truck, you can get it fixed at Prime, whether it's a Peterbilt, Freightliner, unless it's something that they can't fix there. Within that first 30 days, you're not going to be responsible for anything on that truck especially if you get a brand new truck. So it's not like, you can have some catastrophic situation one weekend that's not your fault, that's going to bankrupt you. So you really got to plan on, that first month building yourself up a little bit of a buffer. But I had nothing saved. I mean, I could barely find 2 nickels rubbed together in my pocket when I went lease. So I didn't have a saving. I didn't have anything, and I did just fine. I climbed up pretty quick. I think you take some cheap rates to get good ones. It's only fair. Yeah, I agree. I definitely take cheap rates to get good rates. We should all stop hauling in the cities that are burning. Seattle and Portland. Yeah, people need food, and my job is to deliver it. So that's kind of where I'm at. So I'm required to have a physical exam done before I come to Prime because I thought they did it at Prime. I think that I'm not sure. I don't know. I think they might ask that you do drug tests and physical first now. I'm not sure before you get there. I'm not sure. They can do physicals at Prime and might still do it that way. I'm not sure. What do you do if you're not near your home but need to see a doctor, or dentist, or urgent care? We've had to go through that before. We can almost always park our truck somewhere like a Walmart or truck stop. So if you need to go to urgent care, and we have a dog, we've had to take her to a veterinarian in an emergency situation for her, which that was kind of a shit show. Where we had to park our truck on a little farm road right outside of a veterinarian, fully loaded, like in the road. There's no shoulder or anything. Like we just parked right in this little 2-lane road, turned the flashers on, and sat there for an hour while our dog had to be taken into a veterinarian. But Jenna had to go to urgent care once for an X-ray. She thought she had an ankle issue, and we just went to Pittston, parked at the terminal, and she took the actual Pittston shuttle took her to the urgent care. So I don't think it's that difficult to be able to get to urgent care, or doctor, or dentist in most places. Like I said, you can park at Walmart. In my Google Maps, I have so many places saved where I can, anytime I find a place where I can park my truck and it's legal to park my truck there, I drop a pin on my Google Maps and leave a comment. So I have so many places now after 2 years that we can park the truck and trailer that I don't really find it that difficult. Thank you, man. You saved me a lot of worries. First month would be straight emergency fund and ramen noodles. Yeah, that's how it was for me. Exactly. How does company driver find a lease operator to drive for? I had no idea 10 count, no clue. Talk to me in maybe 6 months. Schedule for you before you come. Yeah, see, Do It All says you can go to any emergency care. Exactly. I've seen videos of people panicking, saying that if you drive a truck, you're just screwed if something goes wrong. That's not true at all. You can get you'll find that you can park your truck in a lot of places, guys. You're not going to be stranded and not be able to get to a dentist or a doctor or a veterinarian. We park our truck in a lot of places. You have to have a home now. Okay, so Do It All says you have to have it at home now. I assume you're talking about the physical. You have to do everything before coming to Prime. That's what I thought. I thought you had to do, and remember, Do It All. We didn't, back when you and I went through, you did everything at Prime. Everything, like your permit, your actual written test, your permit, everything was done at Prime. You didn't do anything. You just packed your bags, got on a Greyhound bus, and went to Prime and did everything there. And like I said, my class had over 100 students in it. So it was chaos getting 100 students through everything in 1 week. Whereas now with most of that stuff done by the time you get there, it goes a lot smoother. So they have not told me to do a physical or drug test before I came in. Good to about Google Maps. Yeah, John St. Clair, I've got lists. I keep lists for everything. I keep lists for rest areas that have lots of grass where I can throw the ball for my dog. My secret parking spots. I have secret parking spots in Nashville, Los Angeles, Cleveland, Cincinnati. I got secret parking spots in all the shitty cities. The cities with, I don't mean shitty cities, I mean cities without good parking. I got secret spots in all of them, and I use them where it's quiet and there's nobody else. So, and both of us vape. I used to smoke for a long time, so both of it. I don't think it's cool. That's why I don't sit here and do it in front of the camera. I don't think there's anything cool about it. I just don't want to smoke cigarettes. But I have a list of vape shops that I can get to with my truck. So I keep list, like you can categorize all your pens on your Google Maps, and I keep list of all those things. So I just looked at my orientation. They give us physical and drug tests when we get there. Okay, so they're kind of still doing that. I don't know. Anyway, guys, we're coming up on an hour. So again, thank you, Do It All Trucker. Guys, I'm going to go back and edit this video to put a link to his Halloween video on his 3 scariest moments in trucking. Go watch that if you haven't. I'm assuming most of you have. But if you haven't, click on that and go watch it. I'm pinging Johnson's Logic to consider doing the same if you get a chance. And thank you guys so much. I mean, we're coming up on 500 subs, you guys. And we just crossed 2 months on YouTube. So 500 subs is freaking we talk about it today. Do It All called when we were at Sam's Club, and we had a long conversation about this. And it's a learning experience, putting your life out here on YouTube like this. It's a learning experience for us, but we really appreciate you guys coming along for the journey and helping us build this thing. And thank you for the support, and thank you for the constructive criticism. That's what somebody mentioned at the beginning of this video, that they weren't trying to be just knock us down. There's a difference. There's constructive criticism, which I love and I'm wide open to. I love good debate. I have a thick skin. Nothing's getting under my skin. The things that I've been addressing lately are the people who just carpet bomb comments with saying stupid shit. I'm happy driving for Prime. I say this in every single video. I love my truck. I love my job. I love the company I drive for. I love leasing with Prime. I love the money that we make. I love running team. And then I'll have people come and tell me that I don't love any of it and that I'm crazy for staying with Prime. It's so foolish. When someone's saying that they like their situation, that they're making good money, and that they like the company that they're doing it for, do you realize how foolish it is when you come and say you don't like what you're doing, you don't make good money, and the company you drive for sucks? What the hell is that even? That's the kind of comments I can't stand. It's not the constructive criticism. I love that. Oh man, that's social media. Keep doing what you love. Yeah, it is social media. We like I told Do It All today on the phone. We get a kick out of it. It doesn't get under my skin. It just, I think it's more baffling that it is bothersome. Um, but yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much. As always, be safe, make good decisions, drive to thrive. For those of you just coming to Prime, welcome to the family. It's a great company. And for those of you at Prime, be safe out there, guys. Talk to you soon.